Welcome back to the Honest Art Podcast, where today on this episode, I'm talking about the thing that I get asked about most often, other than pricing, and that is, how do you get gallery representation? So on the podcast, I shared all of the things, all of the blunders, and the mistakes that I made in my effort and my attempt to get gallery representation. And I share with you the 8 things that you can do to have the best luck at getting your own gallery representation. Number 1 on that quest that I want you to know is it is all about the art. You can be the kindest, nicest person with a huge Instagram following or whatever, but it is all about the art. And that is the first mistake that I made when I first started applying. I had this idea that really my art was better than it was, and it wasn't quite gallery ready. So when I started applying, of course, I was rejected a good bit. So I always suggest to artists, get art critiques that are honest when you can. So that's number 1. It's all about the art. Number 2, it's also all about it being a right fit for both you and the gallery. So you want to make sure it's the right fit in terms of style. So let's say you are an abstract expressionist. You don't want to apply to a gallery that is mostly Western art, just because maybe it's the best gallery in your area. It needs to be a similar style. The second thing, it needs to be kind of a similar price point as your art. So a lot of galleries, let's say they have a range of maybe 10 to 20,000, or maybe it's higher than that, or maybe it's a little lower, whatever it might be. But if your art is still low, or if it's still in that 50 cents per square inch or something like that, then it's not the right fit in terms of price for the gallery. So make sure it's a good fit for price. And then lastly, you want to make sure it's a right fit in terms of the career stage that you are at as an artist. And what I mean by that is a lot of galleries really like to support emerging artists, and that may be you. That would be a great fit for you. But then there are other galleries who really like to sell the work of dead artists. If you're watching this, I'm going to guess it's not you. So make sure that it's a right fit in terms of style and price and the career stage that you are at as an artist. Okay, so once you figure out if it's a good fit, the question might be, how do I apply? All right, the first thing I'm going to suggest you do is go to that gallery's website and look at what their submission guidelines are, because every gallery's submission guidelines are different, and you want to go by their specifics. And then once you have those specifics, I can tell you that most galleries want you to send an email with those specifics in them. And again, I talk about all of this in great detail in the podcast. But here's the last thing I want to say is, as I mentioned, it's all about the art, but it's about your best art. So here's the mistake that I made. Let's say a gallery wants to see 12 of your best pieces in your portfolio. That does not mean that as artists, we paint 12 paintings. They are wanting the best pieces in your portfolio, which means that you probably need to paint about 30 paintings, and then from those paintings, you choose the best golden nuggets of what you have. So I hope you enjoy today's podcast, and I hope it helps you if you are looking for gallery representation.